you are just as good as the rest of them, as the white people that you see backpacking Ho Chi Minh City. Like, hello, xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã quay trở lại với channel của NamSica. Thứ nhất, điều đầu tiên cho mình nói là mình rất là cảm ơn mọi người đã đón nhận cái series English Chat, cái episode đầu tiên, cái tập đầu tiên vào tuần trước khi mà mình cho ra mắt và cuộc trò chuyện với lại cô giáo Jenna. Thì nếu mà ai chưa xem cái tập đó thì hãy xem ở đây. Thế thì khách mời ngày hôm nay đến với chúng ta trong series English Chat ngày hôm nay là Kim. Thì Kim là một người bạn đã học cùng với mình ở Singapore vào 2 năm cuối. Bọn mình học cùng với nhau ở trường CJC Catholic Junior College. Thì cái thời gian ở đây nó tuy là nó ngắn ngủi thôi, nhưng mà bọn mình đã rất là thân trong cái khoảng thời gian đó, tại vì là ở cùng ký túc xá. Sau cái thời gian ở Singapore thì bọn mình có hơi mất liên lạc một chút, và thậm chí là đến tận bây giờ thì mình cũng rất là ít có liên lạc với Kim. Kim thì ngày xưa học cùng với mình ở Singapore, sau đó thì mình quyết định là mình đi du học ở Mỹ. Tuy nhiên là Kim thì quyết định lại đi du học ở Đức. Thì ngày hôm nay mình rất là hào hứng muốn nghe xem là Kim có những chia sẻ gì cho chúng ta, và cũng muốn xem là cái góc nhìn về học tiếng Anh cũng như là cái góc nhìn về việc đi du học của Kim như thế nào sau một thời gian ở Đức. Thế thì bây giờ chúng ta sẽ cố gắng kết nối với Kim và chúng ta sẽ có một buổi trò chuyện ngày hôm nay cùng với English Chat nhé. Thank you again for being here, and this is for my YouTube channel, and would you mind giving the viewers a little bit of an introduction so that they get to know you a little bit better?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Kim Ngung, but I often tell people to call me Kim because it's easier to pronounce. I'm living in Germany at the moment, and I knew Nam through our junior college time in Singapore. Then after that, we moved to different path. I moved to Germany to do my bachelor degree in taxation and law. So I've been staying here in Europe for 6 years, doing different things. And currently, recently, I just graduated and now looking for a job. Yeah, not the right time, but hopefully I will get some luck and find one job soon.
Yeah, hopefully so. Now is definitely difficult for everyone, especially newly grads. Like you mentioned, we met in junior college in Singapore. Now, I remembered you being very reserved at first, like you didn't want to talk to a lot of people. That's kind of my first impression of you. But then as we got closer, it was very fun having you as a friend. And I remember that time very dearly. I do wonder, though, what was your first impression of me?
So my first impression of you was you're really cool, because you mentioned I was a bit shy and reserved and not so easy to get close to people. So when I look at you like someone who are so sociable and so active in different kind of social activities, I think, oh, this guy's so cool. Yeah, because you are kind of popular during that time in our college. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I was popular, but I definitely spent way too much time doing social activities and, extracurricular activities because my grades suffered so much. The Singapore curriculum was so difficult compared to what we had to do, say, in Vietnam, and eventually for me in the US. It wasn't as stressful a time in college in the US as compared to what we did in high school. Do you agree?
Totally agree. The thing is that in Singapore or in some Asian countries in general, they focus a lot in academic excellence, right?
True.
So when I moved to Germany, life is totally different. People here are more chilled. They are more relaxed. They focus on doing what they like, and not only doing well in school, they participate in different activities as well, doing charity and stuff. Yeah.
That is true. Yeah, I feel like once you get a job, your grades in college or, whichever school that you used to go to, it really doesn't mean anything. But yeah, even though I struggled so much in Singapore, I did really enjoy my time in Singapore as far as the people and the culture how did you feel about your time in Singapore, and what did you like most about it?
Definitely, I really appreciate my time in Singapore because it's like a stepping stone for where I am now. So I was exposed to different culture, like, because Singapore is a very diverse country, and I also enjoy the food there. Sometimes I miss like kway teow and the fish noodles and the stuff that we cannot find here in Europe.
And even when we try to recreate some of that, we just don't have the right ingredients or the seasoning to do so. So why did you choose Germany for your bachelor's degree?
Yeah, I got asked this question a lot when I was doing my A-level degree. Like, some unfortunate thing happened to me. So that's why my grade at that time was not what I wanted. So I wanted to get like a scholarship to do university in Singapore, but my grade was not good enough. One of my friends, she also studied with me in Singapore, and then she know that I was looking for a university to apply to, and then she said, "Oh, why don't you go to Germany? Because here we have free tuition fee, even for a foreigner." Yeah, so completely free, so it's much cheaper. And also Germany is a new country in a new continent, and you get to explore more.
Yeah, it's a whole different experience for sure. Like, what do you need to prepare yourself? Say, if you want to find a scholarship or if you find a school in Germany, like, what kind of tests do you need to take? Do you have to learn German?
Actually, the degree that I applied to was taught in English. So I only need to do like TOEFL test. Yeah, and because I did my high school degree in Singapore, I can apply directly to university in Germany. But then I know, like, for some Vietnamese, if you go from Vietnam, you need to do some German test. When you come to Germany, you have to attend a college for 1 year before you can move on to university. It's compulsory. Because I did my high school degree in Singapore, I can skip that college.
It's just not a very common path, so I don't think a lot of people know about. Germany, though, did you have a lot of Vietnamese students at your university when you were there?
Yeah, actually, there are a lot of Vietnamese in my uni, but the thing is that I don't really hang out with Vietnamese because I try to hang out with international as well. Yeah, but the thing is that I don't hang out with German a lot because German people, they are also very reserved, very shy at first, and it's really difficult to get close to them. Like in my class, the German, they kind of like stick together. Only like towards the end of the degree, they start to open up to internationals and they start to talk more and share more. But it's already too late. I also did a lot of internships, and I moved to the Netherlands, Amsterdam. There I made some like Greek friends, and I'm still in touch with them. And
that's nice.
And then I moved back to Germany. I did another internship in an international company, and then I also make friends with the other people from different countries like Korea and so on. Yeah, but most of my friends, they are internationals. They are not local.
Do you think a part of it is because English is not their first language as well? Yep. So it's harder to connect with them.
I think you're totally right. Yeah, because like here in German, they still prefer to be friends with someone who speaks German, right? And I am a lazy person. I didn't really brush up my German skill, so I still talk in English most of the time.
Is German difficult to learn?
Only like the grammar is very complicated. Like they have gender, right? They have gender for different noun. For example, a chair will be a gender, a wall will be a gender, a bed will be a gender. Every object, every single thing will have a gender. Yeah.
Is that just male or female?
Male, female, and neutral as well. Male and female and neutral. And
I didn't know they were so progressive.
Yeah.
I love
The
that.
funny thing is that, like, the girl in German, right? The
Uh-huh.
girl doesn't have a female gender; it has a neutral gender. Only that is already so complicated. Like when you come to pronunciation, right? It's even.
I wonder how they came up with that. Like, did they just have like 5 people sitting in a round table deciding, which word is what gender? Like, this is very fascinating. That is for sure. Now, you touch on a little bit about internships. Now, is it difficult to get internship while studying in Germany?
I think you need to be a bit patient because my first internship, it was not in Germany, it was in the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands they speak a little bit more English. From there I already have some work experience, so I came back to Germany and I looked for another internship in another international company, and usually international company they will have more vacancy for English speaker.
It's so fascinating hearing you having internships all over the place, because I think that's definitely one area that I didn't quite get to when I was in school, because I finished my bachelor degree in 3 years. I really rushed it through, and the time outside of classes I usually spent doing the fun stuff. I never really thought about getting an internship, and that really came back to bite me in the butt when I was trying to look for a job right out of college, because then I realized I have zero experience. So what do you have to say about that? Is it crucial to get internships?
As a foreigner like me, whose German is not that good, if I want to stay in Germany afterwards, it's gonna be very difficult. So at least I have to have something. So I decided to invest on my practical skill, my work experience.
That is very wise. I think I want to tell the viewers too, even if it's not mandatory, during the years that you're in college, at least get 1, if not 2, if you can, internships, because that really makes you, it puts you like light years ahead of those who didn't have any, like me, because the reality will hit you very, very hard the moment you are out of school, that the job market is tough. And especially for international students, try to squeeze into that, you really have to make yourself stand out. And one of the best ways to do that is through an internship. I'm so glad you brought that up. Now, what is your plan for the future? Is future Germany, or is future back home, or are you planning to do something else altogether?
Definitely, I don't want to go back to Vietnam that soon. Even though my family, my father, my grandmother, even my brother, they ask me why don't I want to go back to Vietnam, because it would be easier, because I have family there, I have a German degree, so it would be easier for me to find job, and maybe also higher pay. But the thing is that I am still exploring myself. I still want to explore the world and different countries. So I want to stay in Europe because I will have more freedom to travel, more freedom to get advanced in my career.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And then you brought up the fact that in Germany right now, you have more liberty to travel. I think that's one of the things that I envy the most about folks in Europe, is you guys just have this enormous opportunity to travel within the EU, and it might seem small and easy to travel around, but each place is so different, and you get to have the chance to explore and experience all of that. I think is just fantastic. I cannot be more jealous.
Well, you can move to Europe in the future.
I want to. I want to travel. Yeah, I need to travel more now that I'm, working and having a little bit of a budget. But it was impossible as a student. So I think, for you being in Europe and having that chance to.
But I have to say that traveling here, even though it's easy, it's not that cheap, Like for
true.
example, Switzerland is really expensive. Like Denmark and Sweden is like they are expensive countries, right?
True.
So for me as a student, I have my own way of traveling. Like for example, I do couch surfing. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, I do couch surfing. So we contact like hosts from different places that I were traveling to. And that also a good chance to get to know people from different countries and talk to them, and also get to know about the local, the culture. And of course, like my friends in Singapore, they also move around a lot, and some of them ended up in Europe as well. So I contacted them, and they host me, and of course, I save a lot. I save a lot of money through that.
Yeah, traveling as a student is definitely difficult because you don't have a lot of budget to work with, but having connections and getting to know the locals at the places that you're going to definitely will help. So let's talk a little bit about learning English. Have you had troubles learning English growing up, or was it always natural for you?
It's definitely not natural for me. Yeah, because like even though back in Vietnam, I was in a like English team. I even like participated in some of province or competition for like gifted students, and I got some prize even. But the thing is that people in Vietnam, they focus at that time, at least like for my time, we focused a lot on grammar and vocabulary, and not so much about speaking and pronunciation. And when we do the test, like the competition for gifted student, like we focus a lot like on grammar and writing and vocabulary as well. Like we did nothing like for speaking. So my grammar is quite good, I think. And then we came to Singapore, right? That's when it hit me really hard because my speaking skill was horrible. Like at that time, as you know, like for O-level exam, we have the oral exam.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So,
I spoke about that in one of my videos. It was traumatic. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a nightmare for me because speaking is not one of my strengths. I was not confident during my secondary time because of my speaking skill. So that kind of limited my network as well, because I didn't want to talk to the locals, so I couldn't make friends with them, and I only like hang out with the Vietnamese student. But then when I moved to the junior college, it's a bit different. Somehow the Singaporeans in our junior college, they are more friendly. I talk more to them, and my English like got a bit better.
Yeah, definitely. It was true when we were in Vietnam and we were learning, and I talked a little bit about it in my previous video. But yeah, we focus a lot on grammatical structure as well as vocabularies. So I feel like a lot of us would be decent at reading or writing. But yeah, when it comes to speaking and listening, it's something that we're not used to doing, and it's not something that we are pushed to focus on. So sometimes that is a little bit lacking for sure. Like when you get to Singapore, it's a different game altogether.
Yeah, like, exactly, because they have a totally different accent, and it's
and
really
I wouldn't
hard
even call it an accent though. It's like a totally different dialect.
True.
Right?
True.
It's like a whole version of English altogether.
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy difficult. What about when you get to Germany? How has your English evolved?
Okay, so that's a really good question. The thing is that after I moved to Germany, my German doesn't improve much. My English got worse because English is not a first language here. My Vietnamese also worsened, because like after 10 years abroad, And sometimes I have some Vietnamese friend, but I don't hang out with Vietnamese all of the time. So sometimes I forget some of the Vietnamese word. And even when I talk in Vietnamese, sometimes I feel like I have difficulty expressing myself. Like my sentence got really like clumsy, and it's just so weird. So I talk in English with my international friends, but also they are international. Some of them they are like from Korea or China. English is also not their first language. Actually, that's an advantage, because like both of us, they are speaking English as a second language. We will not be ashamed of speaking English because both are making mistake. So we will be right. So we will not be ashamed of ourselves. So I am wondering, like, how about you? When you move to America, you are like talking to native speakers. How do you feel? Because I think you have a lot of pressure, like making the talking like correctly in English, right?
Right. Yeah. I think there is a little bit of an expectation. I think the time in Singapore really gave us a lot of materials to start with. So we learned a lot of words and we learned a lot of the basics. The thing for me was to start adapting to the American accent, because I spent all 4 years trying to adapt to the Singaporean accent that I got pretty good at.
I have to say that you are really good at adapting your accent, because I remember your accent back then was totally different from your accent now.
Thank you.
I couldn't get the Singaporean accent anyway. I have a weird accent now. It's a mix of different things. I don't know.
But I mean I think that is the reality for most of us. People who have been studying in various countries, is that we are also a melting pot of all of that experience that we have had, and I think that's beautiful. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I truly don't believe in one single perfect English. Don't feel like you have to rush it. Don't feel like, when you learn English, you have to get there like in 2 weeks. Like, it's not going to happen for most people. Do you agree?
Yeah, exactly. For me, it will never happen for me. Because if I don't live in America, if I keep living in Europe, right, my English is gonna be broken English for my whole life.
And that's okay. And that's I think that's the thing that people don't think about, is they see, Americans, like that is perfect, but they don't understand that, there's this entire European world that they all speak English very well. I mean, you are just as good as the rest of them, as the white people that you see backpacking Ho Chi Minh City. Like, this is
true. True. Like,
right?
Because my bachelor degree is in English, right? So we have a lot of international students as well, like from the other European countries, from Italy, from Moldova, from Poland. Yeah, and their English are like very different. It's kind of interesting to listen to different European accents.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere that if your English is broken, that means you can speak more than one language. Right.
There you go. Yep. That's yeah. And that is not something that a lot of Americans can tell you. I can tell you that. Not a lot of them will be able to tell you that they speak more than just English. Is there anything else you would like to share with the viewers that you think might be beneficial to them, either, about learning English or about studying abroad?
After many years living abroad, I would say you just have to be prepared, like in a sense that you cannot just, I would like to enjoy my time in the university and I party all the time, and then when your degree finished, it may you may have some regret, like you mentioned before. If you kind of prepare yourself, it will be easier for you if you plan to stay in in like overseas in the long term. If you plan to go back to Vietnam, then it's easy. You can do whatever you like. Just be open-minded and be proactive. Like talk to different people, get connections. It may help you in the future.
Yeah, it would definitely help, and I think planning, like you said, is very crucial, especially when you are in a foreign country. If you decide to study abroad, you are kind of on your own. So, if you want to really excel in that environment, you kind of have to look forward a little bit, and then have a little bit of planning. And I like this quote from my English teacher in Singapore. What she refers to essay writing, of course, but she says that if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. It has been very fun to catch up with you and, getting to know what you've been up to. And we would love to have you back again if you're willing sometime in the future. Otherwise, I wish you all the best with what you're doing in Germany and with your future pursuits. And hopefully we'll get to hear about those journeys too.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm glad to see that you are doing well as well with your YouTube career. I hope that you will get more viewers, more like and subscribe. So all the best.
Yes, that's the plan. All right.
Yeah.
We'll catch up with you at some other time. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Good night.